As the title suggests, everyone, what I'm going through today is the results of mining Bitcoin since 2014. For anyone that didn't hear at the start, the way that we got into Bitcoin mining was I was a bit of a gamer back in the day in high school, playing Counter-Strike, Dota 2, all the games till 3 a.m. in the morning. And it came to my attention that rather than running my computer to play games, I could mine Bitcoin. Back at that time, it wasn't earning much. It was a couple of dollars overnight. Nothing substantial, nothing that was going to pay a mortgage off or anything like that. But obviously, we were getting exposure to an asset that not many people knew about at all back in 2014. In 2017, we obviously came into a much more interesting market. The coins that we'd collected went from a couple $100 a coin to $20,000 a coin. And we really, at that point, turned around and said, all right, we got some serious money here. What can we do with this? And what we decided to do is start building our own computers, which could mine Bitcoin at a much faster rate. We were mining Ethereum at the time as well. From that point, we kind of turned around and looked at everything and said, all right, you know, we could kind of spend our time working a 9-to-5 job, or we could keep buying and more of these Bitcoin miners and really scale things out as quickly as we possibly could. And that's where we actually founded Mining Store. We had a lot of our family, friends at the time, started putting Facebook ads out, and we were absolutely inundated. We were getting told it was like the Steve Jobs operation. We were in our home just building these computers, sending them out all around Australia. Met a lot of cool people. But the problem that we faced was the power costs. It was really, really expensive to run miners in Australia. It costs around 30 cents. I know you guys are paying your power bills at home. And it didn't really make sense for us to continue doing that. So what we ended up doing was setting up some big hosting facilities overseas. And that's where things really changed from us. It went from a little bit of a hobby, where we were mining a couple $100 a month, to starting to generate an income of hundreds of $1,000s a year, just purely mining Bitcoin. So we've learned a lot over the time. On the screen now are some of the major benefits of mining Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Casper, KDA, there's a whole heap of them. But the biggest thing that I love about mining is point one, it develops a long-term exposure to the market. So many people, pretty much every person I've talked to at our stall today, I've asked them, how did you get into crypto? And the classic story is, I bought in 2017, got wrecked, lost most of my coins, but I stayed hanging around. And that is a repeating thing. A lot of people, their entry into cryptocurrency is at the very top of the market. And unfortunately, they do find that they lose a lot of their coins as the market comes down. When you're mining cryptocurrency, you're kind of locked into the investment for a 4-year period. That's how long the miners last for. And every day, you're picking up Bitcoin at different prices. So today, if you've got your mining machine online, you're going to be mining Bitcoin at today's price. What is it? 37,000, 36,000. If Bitcoin drops to $15,000, you're going to be mining at $15,000. If it goes up to 60, 80, 90, you're picking Bitcoin up at different prices every single day. And that forces a dollar cost average strategy. So again, especially for people who are putting a lot of money into the market, in the 10s, 20s, $50,000, $100,000, if you put that into Bitcoin and it dumps down, you're going to get a pretty sick feeling that you've lost half your money. Whereas if we put it into the Bitcoin miners, you're forced to that long-term exposure and you just start picking it up at the lower price. It also means that you don't make stupid decisions and go, oh, it's dumped down, I'm going to sell it all out. You're kind of locked in for a longer period. The second point is obviously it's very passive. Pretty much everyone in here, I can imagine, has a full-time job, kids, family, everything like that. You're going on holidays, whatever it is. And it can be really hard in the cryptocurrency market to keep up to date with every single thing that's going on. That's what we love about mining. It's completely passive. When you purchase a Bitcoin miner with us, it gets sent to our hosting facility. We then plug it in. You pay 12 cents per kilowatt hour, which around about $260 a month to run your machines. And you don't really have to do anything else. It's all there, all managed for you. You don't have to set up all the infrastructure, anything like that. It's also highly scalable. Bitcoin miner starts at $4,000. That's what we're selling the S19K for at the moment. but you could get 1,000 of those. You can really scale as high as you want. Most people start with 1 to 5 miners, but then they'll scale up to 10. And when you get 10 miners, that's around about where you start seeing the power of the Bitcoin investment. The reason why is because you mine enough coins per month that you could buy another Bitcoin miner with what you have already mined. So if you've got 10 miners, by the end of the month, you have enough to buy another miner and you can scale out really quickly. That's what Cal and I did back in 2017 when we put into our first 10 miners. Started with that. After a few months, bought another one, bought another one, bought another one, doubled the size of our investment. And I'm going to go through a little bit more about what we've learned over these years and the best time to buy hardware and the best time to sell. I'll go to this slide here. Obviously, there's a major benefit to hosting, and what I mentioned before, that cheap electricity, it's a passive income, there's less infrastructure costs, no skill requirement, and it's easier to enter and exit. The exiting part is a really important factor that a lot of people miss out when they are mining. A lot of people buy Bitcoin miners and they never sell them. But you can do that. You can buy a Bitcoin miner, mine on it for 18 months, and then you can sell it off when it's worth a lot more, keep all the coin that you've mined, and then repeat when the market comes down. You don't have to do that. You can mine on it for the 4 years and it still would be a great investment. But just like trading, if you can time the market a little bit, and I'm going to be talking about that with the Bitcoin halving cycles, you can get a lot more out of your investment. So the image on the left is a photo of what a home setup looks like. It's quite complicated, uses a lot of electricity. We don't recommend it. We strongly recommend using a hosting facility. So what affects profitability? These factors here are what I call you can't control these factors. You can't control the block reward. You can't control the network fees. But these are the basic things that determine how profitable your mining operation are going to be. And just note, as I say in the red box at the top there, calculating Bitcoin mining returns based on what am I earning today, how many coins am I earning today, and what are they worth, is probably the worst way that you can calculate your mining returns. The main factors that affect revenue are your current block reward. So back when Bitcoin first started, 2008 and onwards, the block reward was 50 Bitcoin per block that you mined. So as I was saying, back when we were mining on our computers, we were earning a lot of Bitcoin. They weren't worth a lot, but every 4 years that's halved. So it went from 50 Bitcoin per block to 25, down to 12.5. Now we're at 6.25. But of course, Bitcoin's price has gone up a substantial amount since then. The other factor that affects your mining rewards is network transaction fees. This one's a really interesting one. Does anyone in the audience know of Bitcoin ordinals? Did anyone take note of that this year? When NFTs started launching on the Bitcoin network, we saw transaction fees go from 0.3 of a Bitcoin as high as 2. And right now, because of how high Bitcoin's price is and how high trading volume is, Bitcoin block rewards have gone to 2 BTC. So our mining rewards have actually increased by 30% just from Bitcoin block rewards. If you use an online calculator to calculate mining rewards, they don't even include the Bitcoin block reward. So it's actually, all they're doing their calculations off is just off the block reward, which is 6.25 Bitcoin. They're not even considering that the network transaction fees. So that can add a substantial amount to your profit. Obviously, the price that you sell your Bitcoin at affects your mining rewards, and I prefer to use the price you're going to sell at. When you're mining, you're not selling on the day that you mine those coins. You're looking to sell in the future. You're not looking to basically mine today and sell for $5 profit. You're looking to sell it when Bitcoin goes to its all-time highs of 60,000, 80,000, 90,000, 150. I don't know what you guys think Bitcoin's going to go to. My projections for this next run are around the 150K mark. So I'll be selling my Bitcoin that I've mined over the past years between the 80 to 150,000 mark. That's what you should enter in any calculator that you're using, the price that you plan to sell your Bitcoin at, not the price today. Of course, network difficulty affects it as well. The more people to mining, the more competitive it is, and the less rewards that you get. And then, of course, the hash rate that you have. Bitcoin miners are based on terahashes. So the current miner we have now is 120 terahashes. And that obviously will determine how much Bitcoin you're mining. If you've got 200 terahashes, you're going to get more Bitcoin. The last factor that affects your returns on a daily basis is the power. So Bitcoin miners use 2,900 watts of power. That's what the S19K is. There's some miners out there that are using 5,000 watts of power. So obviously that is going to cost you a lot more to run. So if you do want to buy a Bitcoin miner, you want to buy a miner that has the highest possible terahashes for the lowest possible power draw and is not too expensive as well. You don't want to pay $10,000 for a 200 terahash miner when you can pay $3,000 for a 100 terahash miner, if that makes sense. Other factors that affect your profitability, of course, as I just explained there, the cost per terahash and the power draw, the price that you sell at, whether you are reinvesting the coins. That's a big part of what we've taught our clients to do, is to not just hold your Bitcoin in a ledger wallet and keep that there forever. Does anyone in here know the project Rune or Thorchain? No one? Couple people? You can earn 2 to 3% by staking your Bitcoin in their vaults. So that might not sound like a lot, but when you scale your mining operation and you have multiple Bitcoin, hundreds of thousands of dollars, earning an extra 5 to 10 grand a year by simply putting it in a vault, it does make the difference. It can pay power bills, it can help you expand. It makes a big difference in the long run. All right, so if there's one thing that I want you guys to take from today, it's this chart here. I'm sure most of you know what the Bitcoin halving is, if you've been in the market for enough time. And this here is basically showing you the cycles that Bitcoin goes through. Every 4 years, as I said, the Bitcoin mining reward halves. So it's gone from that 50 in that yellow section to 25 in the pink section. In the blue section, it was 12.5. And now in the green section, which is where we are currently, it's at 6.25 Bitcoin. That's about to halve again in April next year. And at that point is where we usually see Bitcoin's price spike as the hardest. Now, what does this have to do with mining? Timing the purchase of your mining equipment is half of the game. Back in 2019, Bitcoin miners were selling for $15,000 to $20,000 per miner. Just to get a 100 terahash miner, you were outlaying $15,000 to $20,000. Right now, where we're at a more boring stage of the market, although recently it's been better, Bitcoin miners are currently selling for $4,000. So although the mining rewards are lower, you're only earning $5 now compared to back in the bull run, you were earning $20 to $30. It is a much smarter decision to buy your Bitcoin miners now before the Bitcoin halving happens and before price starts to rally. Get your hardware costs as low as possible. Then leading into the bull run, what tends to happen is everyone sees that Bitcoin miners are earning $20, $30 and they want to buy them. The price of these miners goes up from $4,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 per miner. And what you want to do is you want to actually consider selling off your miners at that point. That's what we encourage our clients to do. It's the benefit of having your miners at a hosting facility as well. When you have your miner at a hosting facility, you can easily say, I would like to sell my miner to anyone in the world and they can pick it up and buy it off you. When you're hosting it at home, you may have to go through eBay, Gumtree, all the rest of it. It takes too long to sell it. You won't end up doing it. You'll probably sell it off for something that's a lot worse than what you should actually be doing. So just to reiterate, we're about 6 months from the Bitcoin halving now. Right now is the cheapest we've ever seen Bitcoin mining hardware. If you are looking to get into mining, you want to be buying the hardware now. You want to be mining on it for the next 18 months, leading into the peak of the market. When we start seeing Bitcoin's price at 80,000, 100,000, 120,000, and your miner is earning $10, $20, $30 a day, it's hard to say, I'm going to get rid of this asset that's making me a lot of money. But if you can sell it for 3 or 4 times the price that you bought it for, you've kept all the mining rewards for 18 months, and you've also sold the miner at a profit. That's the aim of the game. It's the best strategy that we've implemented. We did this in the previous bull run. We were buying M20S miners for $2,000 or $3,000 a miner. We bought around 200 of them. In the peak of the bull run, we were selling them for $12,000. and we had kept all of the 18 months of Bitcoin that we'd mined on it. We didn't sell all of them. We kept around 25% of them, and just recently we started to turn them off. They were a bit old, like 4 years. They'd tend to not be able to compete with these newer generation models. But that's probably the best part of the strategy we've done, is buying the hardware 6 months before the halving, selling it 18 months after the halving, and then obviously as the market crashes back down, pick up all the hardware again at the cheap price. As I mentioned a few times, we don't just mine Bitcoin. 80% of our portfolio is in mining Bitcoin, but all of the Bitcoin that we are mining, we are putting to work. Whether it be through DeFi strategies, earning an extra 2 or 3% on the Bitcoin that we're holding, or through day trading, we intra-trade the highs and lows of the market to make sure that we're compounding our returns. Everything that we make from DeFi and day trading, we are using to either pay off our power bills or to buy new miners when miner prices are at all-time lows. For our clients, not everyone understands everything that I'm talking about when they first get into crypto. And so we put a big emphasis on education. We have 10 module courses that will teach you what we feel you need to know, everything about day trading before you get into it. We also have hired a full-time analyst who will give you all of his perspective on intraday price action and what he's doing with his trading. And I've actually got some of our clients in the stand today. I might get Craig, do you want to come up? And Ryan, if you're in the stand as well. Can't see him, but there he is at the back here. Both of these clients have been with us for quite some time now, and there's a reason I brought them into the stand. They'll tell you themselves that when they first got into Bitcoin mining, they had no idea what they were doing. When they first got into trading, and this is no offense to the guys, they'll admit it themselves, they didn't know what they were doing, but it was through the education that we provided them, the community that we provided them, that day by day they became more and more confident. I might hand the mic to Craig. Do you want to say a couple of words just about how you found Mining Store Imperial Wealth?
Yeah, I've been trying to think. It's probably 6 years, Will, I've been a client of you guys. So yeah, started with CPU and GPU mining, and through the methods we've learnt from the guys, yeah, just upscaled to now having quite a number of Bitcoin miners being hosted in Europe somewhere. Yep. I don't care. I pay the bill, and Bitcoin hits my wallet once a week. It's a massive profit for me. The Discord community these guys run is second to none, I would say. The education, the mentoring. So yeah, the strategies to trade and just grow the portfolio every day. Yeah.
When you first started trading, what was your kind of initial thoughts of it, and compared to now after being involved with the Discord and doing the education?
When I first started, I was basically throwing darts, hoping for a win. And now I have a real strategy in place.
Yep.
And, you know, with the technology we have now, you set alerts for the prices you want to hit or entry points and everything. Yeah, it's chalk and cheese.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. And Ryan, I think similar. So you started with the Bitcoin mining, as we suggested.
Yeah, I started with 4 miners and gradually bought more.
Yep.
It's for me. When I started, I had no idea. Like the same thing as Craig was saying. I bought a few coins and basically lost them all straight away.
Yeah.
Had no idea, and then got into talking with you boys and got into Bitcoin mining and haven't looked back.
Yeah. And then obviously after, like, the Bitcoin mining, it gets boring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just sits there in the background. You're not really doing much. It just constantly, the great thing is every day you have Bitcoin coming into your wallet. And then what you do with that Bitcoin is where things get fun. And that's where Craig and Ryan both started with the Bitcoin mining, but then obviously they see we do DeFi, we do trading, and they go, oh, okay, I wouldn't mind getting the education on that. Ryan, honestly, sorry, Craig, but Ryan, you've been the most impressive out of all of our day traders. Ryan had not really, absolute goer, by the way. Gives it his all, but didn't really know anything about trading at all. And now he's closing off trades in the profit on a daily basis. It's been pretty phenomenal to watch, to be honest. So congratulations.
Thanks,
Cheers. Thanks. Cheers, boys. Thank you. Well, that pretty much sums up what I want to go through. I hope if there's a couple of things that I want people to take from in the audience, it's that getting into the mining side forces you to have that long-term exposure. It also creates a lot of opportunities after the fact. I don't think that getting into crypto and maybe buying at the top of the market is the best thing to do and then watching everything kind of fall to dust. And, people tend to feel like they know a lot more than they do. When you get in from the mining side, you're going to start getting that longer term exposure to the market. And then what you can do with that Bitcoin to get into DeFi, earn yield on that, get into the day trading, the next steps will come after that. But as I say, our portfolio is 80% in Bitcoin mining, 10% we put into DeFi, and then 10% we're in day trading.